Shapeshifter Annie was a very wickedly delightful and just such a different aspect to play. So
Yeah.
what was it like for you to not only play that role, but also play against yourself?
Honestly, playing against myself, I can't even really speak to that because in order to play that character, I had to kind of adopt the mentality and adopt the truth, which is that this is a different being, right? So when I was working with myself, I was working with my amazing acting double named Amelia, and basically I would map out what I was going to do with her, and then she would emulate me. And so I knew what the other person was going to do, but you kind of tend to know that if you rehearse things anyway. So that wasn't the trip. It was like, okay, technically I'm acting with myself, but I didn't see myself in the scene until the show was edited, until the finale came out. So I couldn't even entertain that truth because it would take me out of the scene and make me immediately aware, oh, I'm talking to myself. Whereas the shapeshifter is a different entity. So when I look at Annie, I'm looking at Annie as a separate entity as well. So that kind of helped me. And I feel like when I saw the thing cut together, it was truly wild because you get used to seeing yourself on screen and it's sort of like initially, oh, it's a very weird experience. It's like hearing your voice on a voicemail, but times a million. And seeing two of yourself is just like, I don't know. So I was anxious about it. So I just prepped it to a really granular degree as an antidote to my anxiety. And that's kind of what I let fly as soon as I walked into that room. But it was really fun. It was a wild experience and very gratifying.
And because she's a variant, how did you find her voice and the way that she moved and made her so distinct?
Honestly, for me, the number one is finding the distinct mannerisms and I guess voice, but it really lies within finding like every moment needs to have an authentic motive or justification and everything needs to come from truth. So it can't be coming from the perspective of I'm putting on a caricature, so she's going to have a different voice and she's going to move differently. It has to be like, how do I say this? It has to be non-manufactured and so organically driven that you kind of find the shifter within you, which is scary, right?
Yeah.
But you have to, because everything needs to be motivated and based in authenticity to sell it to begin with. I would tape myself via my phone in my house for hours on end and then fast forward it to observe my own mannerisms, because so many of us have mannerisms we're not even aware that we're like exhibiting, and that was really humbling. And then I would watch things that sort of expanded my mind in terms of like really being able to absorb the fact that we can transcend our own physicality. I watched Heath Ledger at Batman, so brilliant, and he was only 27 or 26 when he shot that, which is even more insane to me. But I needed to literally watch people transcend their physicality, know I could do it. I needed to study my own to strip myself of it. And then I needed to find the shifter in me and the truth behind it to approach it in a way that felt like it wasn't manufactured. And that's where the voice and the physicality comes into play. And then you just have fun with it. But it's a lot of prep, ultimately.
And this was a big season for Huey and Annie, and they did have a little stumble there.
I know.
But she seems to have forgiven him. So where do they stand in the relationship now?
Oh, gosh. I hope they're in a good place. I mean, they feel like the only stable ground that we have in an otherwise very chaotic environment. So I hope that they make it out okay. I hope they're in a good place. Like you said, they seem to end the season on a note of forgiveness and levity even. And then obviously, again, every time we think something's going to be set up for stability, it's not. So
You never know.
yeah, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, and do you think, given everything that's happened, maybe there's room for a proposal do-over?
I hope so. I'm sort of mad, like from Annie's perspective, even though I played the shifter role, I'm mad on her behalf, not because of the reasons she's mad, but because I want to have the moment for her. I'm like, what a beautiful moment. We've all been waiting for that moment between those two.
Right.
And I want her to experience it earnestly. And so I feel like it's almost due now that they've been through it, but she hasn't actually been present. So I hope so, but I hope it doesn't come about as an obligation because it happened previously. I hope it happens in a really beautiful, organic way that is true to the nature of how they've been since the beginning, which is earnest and just good and well motivated and organic, in terms of their chemistry. So we'll see.